Hello, hello, my beautiful people, and welcome to another episode of Woman to Woman with Joanne, the talk show. I am here with the beautiful Ary Gordon, and she is founder of a nonprofit organization called Speak Out, and it just gives a platform to people who have been abused and molested. It just gives them a platform to speak out and speak their truth. So help me welcome Miss Ary Gordon.
Hey everyone. Hey Joanne.
Hey.
I'm so happy. I'm so blessed to just be on your show today and
Awesome.
just get it started and just share my story, and hopefully it will bless someone else to share theirs as well.
Awesome.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, thank you so much for agreeing to be a part of the show on today. So with Woman to Woman, like we always start off, I always like to know, because my thing is Mississippi is my home. It's beautiful. I love it. So my goal is to share Mississippi in a positive light, just to share who we truly are. Because whenever people come and they try to show Mississippi on the TV, it's always, they try to find the worst looking people to try to match what they've tried to put out in the atmosphere about Mississippi. But we are a beautiful people. Red, yellow, black, and white. We are precious in His sight. So tell me, first and foremost, where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised in Flora, Mississippi.
Flora,
Mississippi, you guys, a small town. Very nice. It was small, but people were so close together. Had a lot of friends. People were nice to us there. And I really enjoyed living there. I think what I really liked the most was the family. You know, just being around so many of your family members, like uncles, cousins, aunties, we all stayed in Flora, Mississippi. So Flora was a nice town. And I love to stay there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So tell me about growing up in Mississippi. What has been your experience growing up in Mississippi?
One thing I do think I love about Mississippi, that it's slow, because I have traveled like up north and things like that, and I noticed up north is kind of fast. But here where I live, definitely coming from Florida is like the country part. So one thing I do like is the country life, the slow life, getting up in the morning, being able to like sip a little cup of coffee, listen to the birds, if you got some roosters or something like that. So I really enjoy growing up in Mississippi. It's very quiet. Haven't ran into anything, crazy, and I'm 35 years old. So Mississippi is a good place to be, especially, Florida, Mississippi is where I grew up at. So.
Right.
Yeah.
And she said country.
Country. Y'all hear that little southern voice in me?
And then you said roosters. I was like, she grew up like that. Girl, we had chicken, we had ducks, we had goats, we had it all. And so I told my children, when I retire, there are two things that I'm requesting. Number one is a driver. That means I have driven them around all their lives. And now I need
payback.
And then I want a ranch. So I'm speaking it into the atmosphere, and I'm letting everybody know that Joanne wants a ranch, and I want a horse. I've never ridden a horse, but I want a horse.
Okay.
So
yes.
That's
you're going to get it because you spoke it in the atmosphere. Yeah, it's going to happen.
Ary, tell us a little bit about your family. Do you have children?
I do. I was actually married for 13 years. Almost 6 years ago, I went through a divorce, and we have 3 boys, Joshua, Jesse, and Jeremiah. And then my last little one was a little princess. Her name is Jada. So she's identical to me. She walks around the house saying, I'm little Ary. I'm little Ary. So yes, I do have my babies, and I love them to death.
Awesome.
Yes.
That is awesome. So let's talk a little bit about growing up your life. We talked a little bit earlier. You were telling me that you graduated from Jackson State. So when did you start at Jackson State?
I started in Jackson State. I think it was the summer of 2010. In December 2013, I graduated with my bachelor's degree in childcare and family education. So my dream is to one day open up my childcare facility, because my passion is kids. I love to teach them, protect them, and just lay that foundation, because, once they're born, they don't have a foundation, and we are responsible for laying that positive foundation for them. So kids are definitely my passion. And one day soon, you guys, you're going to see Little Ary's Daycare.
Little Ary's Daycare.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So you got to name it after you, but kind of after your daughter.
Yeah.
Calls herself Little Ary.
So that's what I'm going to do. Yeah.
Awesome. So tell me, do you work a full-time job now, or
I do. I work a full-time job. I'm also a personal trainer as well. Awesome. If you don't know my story, I actually lost almost 100 pounds.
I was looking at your pictures.
Yeah, I lost a lot of weight. And a lot of people ask me, how did you do it? I started off 1,000,000 times, and I tell everyone that. But once I was mentally prepared, and first thing I did was I prayed. You know, you have to pray about everything, and that's what I do. I said, God, look, I don't want to die early. I have kids. I want to live and not die. And I knew that God had a purpose in me, and it wasn't to, you know, be overweight and die from a heart attack, because that's something that runs in my family. And so one day I got up, I prayed, my mind was made up, and it's been almost 6 years ago. The weight has been off. And what I do now, I just help other people lose weight, because when I was on my journey, I was doing it by myself. And I said, once I reached the point where I'm at my goal, I don't want it to be as hard as it was for me. So I decided to start my boot camps and start training so people can have that positive environment. And, you know, someone to encourage them, hey, you can do it. I've been there. You can do it. You can make it. So that's something that I do. I do work full time, and I also personal train. People say, hey, do you get tired? I think I'm not tired like that, because I'm doing what God has called me to do. And once God called you to do something, he would definitely give you the strength and the power to complete it without being so exhausted. So, yeah.
And when you're on a journey and you're fulfilling your purpose, it's more fun than it is work. So that's where your energy and your strength comes from, because you're doing something that you would do for free, but you do it so well that people pay you to do it. And
that's the fun part. It doesn't feel like a job at all. So that's one thing I do like. And I come across so many people when you're training. And I just thank God for that, because a lot of times people look and say, oh, they're just eating, they're just big. But there's so many things that's going on internal that people don't know about. So you just see the weight, but people deal with so many other things that cause the weight to pick up on them. So when you deal with that issue, the weight is probably the last thing that comes off.
I watched this show. It's called My 600-Pound Life. I haven't watched it in a while, but I used to watch it, and it was always so awesome to watch the journey of the people going from 600 pounds or however many pounds and coming down and watching that transformation. But there was this one lady who she was really having a tough time. And the reason that she gained the weight that she gained was because she was molested as a kid. And she thought that if she was fat or unattractive, that would stop people from, molesting her or raping her. And so that's why she gained the weight, to protect herself. And so I was like, so it's not just overeating. There are so many reasons that people do it to, try to compensate for something else.
Absolutely.
So tell me, what's the name of your, is it just Ary's personal
It's
training?
Team Greatness.
Team Greatness.
Team Greatness.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Okay, that's awesome.
Thank you.
So y'all, look, we're going to take a short break, and we will be right back with more Woman to Woman with Joanne. My name is Amika Coleman, and I am the founder and CEO of Strands of Faith. Strands of Faith is a faith-based hair and beauty lifestyle brand, and we focus on providing moisturizing products for dry hair textures. Our products are geared towards naturals who have dry textures and they need to replenish the moisture in their hair, so they offer a great moisture balance. And also for those naturals who want to grow their hair to long lengths, our products are great because they offer length retention. We currently have 9 products. 6 products are featured in our Holy Grail collection. That's our main collection that focuses on moisture. And then we have 3 additional products that were added later: a shampoo bar, a sealing oil, and a moisturizing styling custard. Our products are handmade in small batches, and we use quality ingredients. And our goal is to create our products to be as clean as possible, so we don't use harsh ingredients. And also, I test each product on my hair first before they're ever placed in the hands of the consumer. We pray over each of our products, and they're made with a ton of love and a lot of faith. Okay, you guys, we are back with more Woman to Woman with Joanne, and we're still here with the beautiful Ary Gordon.
Thank you.
So, Ary, tell me why did you start your nonprofit organization, Speak Out? What was the motivation behind?
Okay, the motivation behind Speak Out, when I was younger, I was molested. And I really didn't have a voice because I was so afraid at the time to tell someone. And once I did, I told someone. And what made me come up with Speak Out, because I wanted to be that voice. Because so many times when we are molested or violated in any such way, we get quiet and we get silent. And sometimes we feel like, hey, it's our fault. But with Speak Out, it allows the victim to speak out and tell your truth. And sometimes when you tell your truth, you're actually healing yourself as well. And you're helping others. So Speak Out is just a platform to allow anyone, if you're dealing with anything. I had people come on my show dealing with suicide, eating disorders. So Speak Out is more than about being molested. It's about what's inside of you that's stopping you, what fear, what happened to you that silenced your voice.
Right.
And with Speak Out, we actually give you that voice back to share your story, whatever story it may be, to get you over that barrier to live again.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, Ary, I keep trying to call you.
It's
Ary.
okay.
Ary, tell me, how young were you? When did the molestation start in your life?
I can say about 4 or 5 years old. And the crazy thing about it, I really the visions of it happening to me really didn't come back until I was like maybe 10 or 11. And I'm like, whoa, what is this? Why I'm dreaming about this or having visions about that. So it was years that passed after I was molested. So I really didn't know what was going on. And then when the visions came back to me, I'm like, what is this? He did this? He didn't supposed to do that. So once the visions came back to me, I'm like, oh, okay. So I was around 4 or 5 years old when it happened to me.
Right.
So it was devastating because I really didn't understand it at the moment. But, as you get older, you understand it a little more. Right. And, hey, that was wrong and it shouldn't have happened.
So when you were 4 and 5 and it happened, did you block it out where you forgot about it, or?
You know what? I think for me to go that long without even remembering years, I think I did kind of block it out. And I really don't know what triggered it to come back. When I think I was in 3rd grade. So I think I was like 9 or 10 years old. So probably for 5 years, I didn't know anything. I was just living my life. So I think it traumatized me so bad that I kind of blocked it out.
Right.
And then one day it just came back to surface.
Right.
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 Yeah.
So to be molested at 4 or 5, was it somebody that you knew?
Absolutely. It was somebody that I knew. Yeah, it was. It was somebody that I knew. And I can remember I was in the restroom one day and I was 10 years old, 3rd grade, and I called one of my sisters in. And I said, sis, this happened to me, that happened to me. And, she went out and she confronted him about it. And, he denied it. But I guess I was hurt. I was really hurt. I guess I'm being taken back now to the incident. But yeah, he was confronted about it and he denied it.
I know that some victims of molestation and abuse, they blame themselves or they feel like it was their fault or it was something they could have done to avoid the situation. Is that something about, do you feel that way about the event that happened with you?
At that time, when I really realized what happened to me, yeah. Because I'm like, maybe it was something I did or maybe it was something I said. I don't know. But at that time, I felt like it was my fault. But being 9 or 10 years old, 4 or 5 when it happened and 9 or 10 when you remember. But being 4 or 5, how can it be your fault? Right. And it's something that I had to realize. But I did. I really thought that it was my fault, that I was molested. And as I, came up in age, I realized it wasn't my fault. I was actually the victim. And a lot of times we don't realize that we really are. We can't hold that over our head. We have to, let it go. And one thing I had to do, I had to forgive in order to move forth. And, it's easy to say it, but I actually went over that person's house and I knocked on the door and I had a conversation. And I just wanted to know, why. We talked and I told him that I forgive you. And he told me, please do, please forgive me. And I don't know what that person was dealing with or if they were molested and they thought that was the way of life. I don't know. But what I can say, it damaged me.
Right.
It had me feeling a certain type of way about myself, having to go talk and see a therapist and things like that to overcome so many, insecurities in my life that I had to deal with. So I forgave him. But at the end of the day, it was still something that I had to forgive myself for too. Just holding, hatred because I hated him.
Yeah.
I was mad. I was mad at God for allowing it to happen to me. And I'm a person of faith, born and raised in church.
Right.
But when something like that happened to you, you question, God, why? And I had to have a serious conversation with God as well, and I can say that I forgave him. I moved on. And I just thank God for giving me a heart to forgive and not a heart to hate.
Right.
So forgiveness takes a lot of strength, but hatred put a hole on your life because that 5-year-old girl was still trapped in my head, even though I was grown in age. And in order for me to release her, I had to forgive or I would have just been stuck there for years.
Right.
So that was something that I had to do for myself, for my kids, for my family, for my life, to get it back.
Forgiveness. And forgiveness is not for the other person, but it's for you.
Absolutely.
To set you free and to keep you free to continue to move forward with life and not be stuck in that one particular spot. So tell me, with your children, after you have experienced being molested, does it make you have a tighter grip on your children or, as they're growing up?
I protect my kids like every day. And me and their father, we have joint custody. He get them 1 week, I get them the next. And one thing I can say good about their father is he protects them as well. And that's one thing that we do have in common, that we protect our kids. Right. And they never spend a night over no one house.
Yes.
Only me, my house and his house. We always, asking questions, especially my daughter. Right. I ask her certain questions as well. And I have a tight grip on them. I was just talking to my son the other day. He was like, Mom, I want to do, he's getting older. He's getting 15. He's almost 16 years old. So I realized I do have to loosen that grip a little bit. Right. But being a mom and what's going on in the world and what happened to you, only thing I can do is pray. Right. I talk to him and I have to let him live his life. I think we did a pretty good job in raising our kids together, joint custody with them. So we definitely protect our kids.
Right. And one thing, because the biggest thing for me, and I'm a mother of 4, I love my children and I've always been protective of them. And I've never been molested or anything, but I always had that in the back of my mind that somebody scared that somebody was going to do something to hurt my children. And I would just be terrified and they would just be right with me, especially when they were little babies. And so I remember praying and I remember hearing God say, I am nobody's grandfather. He said, I am their father, just like I'm your father. And I love them just as much as I love you. And I will protect them just like I protect you. And I have to walk in that every day. Even though my children are grown, 25, 24, 21, 17. I still have to walk in that every day because I can't see, like my son, my 24-year-old son, I can't see him every day. And it's scary with everything that's going on in the world now. And so the only thing we can do is give them back to God, who loves them more than we could ever love them. Amen.
I know I'm about to cry,
amen.
Yeah, I know. My daughter, I ask her certain questions all the time. It's just one day she said, Ma, why you always ask me, have anyone touched me or said anything inappropriate? And I said, when Mama was your age, someone touched Mama inappropriately. Right. And she said, who was there to protect you? And that kind of made me cry a little because, we as parents, God put us in our babies' life and our kids' lives to protect them. Right. And for her being, I think she was 6 at the time, she's 7 now. And she just comprehends so well.
Right.
And for her to say that, I'm like, you know what? You're a smart little girl.
And
but
you've done a great job because she understands that somebody should have been there to protect you.
Absolutely.
And so you've done a great job of raising.
Thank you.
Yes.
They bring tears to my eyes because they're my little babies. I just love them. But I hold them like this. My son said, Mom, you're going to have to let go of that grip just a little bit.
Just a little.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys, we're going to take another short break and we'll be right back with more Woman to Woman with Joanne.
Pink Leopard is an online ladies fashion accessories boutique and a lifestyle brand. At Pink Leopard, you will find ladies' earrings, a door opener, bracelets, brooches, and many other fashion accessories. Visit us at www.mypinkleopard.com and join our mailing list so you can stay in touch with us. That's www.mypinkleopard.com.
Hello, my people. We are back, and we're still here with the beautiful Miss Ary Gordon. So, Ary,
Okay.
How has sharing your story to encourage others helped you to continue your healing journey?
Healing is definitely a process.
Yes.
And just because you say you're healed doesn't mean you're really healed, because anything can trigger that. You're like, oh, I thought I was healed from that.
Yes.
So by me sharing my story, it definitely helps with my healing process. Just to hear different people deal with things that I had to go through and how they made it. Helped me to forgive myself, forgive others, and to heal the right way.
Right.
Because once you heal the right way, you can help people. I didn't want to have a heart of hatred and hate people and hurt people. My mission is to help. You know, help people heal and to get to that point where they can help others. So helping others definitely helped me to heal. Having speak out definitely helped me to speak out more and to help others as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know, I remember earlier when we were talking and you were talking about counseling. So did you go through counseling? Do you have a counselor that you?
Actually, I kept her for a minute. And she helped me out with so much. I was actually sitting in her office like this and was going through like the worst time of my life, but I wanted to be perfect. Like I'm sitting here like smiling. She was like, wait, you're going through this and you're going through that. No way you should be sitting here like everything is all right. And that's when I had to break down and realize, hey, my life is out of control because the weight, the divorce, the molestation. I'm like, I have to get a grip of life and I have to move forth. In order to move forth, I had to be real with the situations that was facing me.
Yes.
I couldn't pretend anymore that this didn't happen or that didn't happen. I had to face it head on.
Right.
And confront it. And in order for me to move forth, I had to confront it and say, hey, no more.
Right.
And I just had to move forward from that. So she was like, look, fix your little face, move your little hands, because you ain't perfect. What's going on? Let's talk about it. So,
Right.
yeah, being real about the truth definitely helped me move forth in my healing process.
Right.
So,
and I have learned that it is absolutely okay to not be okay.
yes.
It's okay to go in my closet and cry as much as I need to cry and then wipe my face and come on out of there, you know, or stay in there as long as you need to.
Right.
In order to get yourself, your inside straight. Right. I remember talking with Carlotta on her show, and when I was preparing for her show, God was showing me how I always talk about my junk in my trunk. And I've been having a lot of junk, and you just throw it over there. I'll deal with it later. I'll deal with it later. Or I don't want to deal with that. I'm going to pretend like I don't see that. And when God started healing me, I thought he would start with the stuff that, because I can put so much junk in the trunk that it's just running over. And God was like, it's starting to stink. You know, so now it's time to start healing this stuff. But instead of him starting on the outside with the stuff you can see, he started on the inside, pulling all of that stinky stuff out and all the stuff that don't feel good, that don't look good, that don't sound good. And he starts to heal you from the inside out. So when your insides feel good and have gone through a healing process, then the outside starts to shine and glow. And that smile that we have is not pretend.
Right.
You know? And some days you're going to feel like smiling, some days you're not.
Right.
But at the end of the day, as long as we're allowing God to heal us from
Right.
the inside out,
Mm-hmm.
then that smile
Because we can
will
dress it
last.
up good.
Woo,
Ooh,
girl.
they got so much stuff. They got the lashes, they got the hair, they
Yes.
got it all.
Yes.
But we're dying in the inside.
I'm telling you, I
So,
was one of them.
yeah,
I had to be,
absolutely.
smiling and acting like everything was okay, but on the inside, it just was not.
No, not
It
at
just
all.
was not.
Right.
So God is good,
Absolutely.
and continuing to learn to trust Him every day is a journey
Right.
within itself.
Mhm.
But it's a adventure.
It is. You never
God.
know.
It's an adventure.
Yes.
So Ary, I do want to say congratulations. I see that you just bought a new
I
home.
did. I'm so excited. Y'all, let me give you this testimony. Do you mind, Joanne?
Go ahead. Go right ahead.
So, once I went through my divorce, I had to start over.
Mhm.
I had a mattress,
Mm.
2 chairs, and a TV. And I remember being at work, and I was crying. I said, God, I want my house. I want it. I'm going to fight for it. He said, don't. He said, whatever you lost, I'm going to give it back to you.
Yes.
And I said, Lord, it don't look like it. It don't look like it. Like, I don't have anything. And when I tell you, Joanne, when you said, trust God, and that's what I did. And I slowly began to get my life back together because, after divorce, sometimes you just have to start over. And that's something that I had to do. And I never lost faith, even though it was just so many things happened. I never lost faith. And years passed. And I was like, man, I think I really want my house now. And I looked at my credit score. It was like a 540 something. I remember God, He said, I'm going to give you what you lost. I'm going to give you your house back. I said, Lord, look at the credit score. So that's when God allowed me to TLC. You see me working TLC, Total Life Changes. What we do, we sell, weight loss products. We sell energy pills. If you want to gain, we do all of that. So He introduced me to that. At first, I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do it. He said, don't you want your house? I said, yeah, I want it. When I tell you with TLC, we don't make income claims, you guys. But with TLC, I was able to pull my credit, pay my debt. I got my credit score all the way to like 780 something because I was making that residual income to pay my debt.
Right.
I was able to put, you ready for this?
Mhm.
$11,004.76 down on my house. That was something that I wanted to do.
Wonderful.
Because God presented that opportunity to me.
Yes.
And I just thank God for that. I have a nice home for my kids. I was able to put that money down. I'm able to save. I'm able to get my kids what they want and need.
Yes.
Because I trust God. I trust the process, and I didn't give up. And I'm just so happy, Joanne, I was able to purchase my home for my kids.
Yes.
So,
That's
yeah.
awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you,
again.
girl. I'm so excited, but thank you so much.
So tell me, and this will be our last question.
Okay.
Tell me, what advice would you give to a young lady who's gone through molestation, gone through divorce, gone through all of this stuff, and she's trying to find her way she's trying to find her freedom. She's trying to find her purpose.
Okay. One thing that I would say first, you have to look in the mirror and forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for any mistakes, any bad choices that you have made. And you have to forgive the person. And I know we say that all the time, but you're going to stay there in the past if you don't forgive so you can move forward. And if you need to talk to someone, talk to someone. Don't.
Right.
People might say, well, you crazy for him. No, you're not. It's okay to sit down and talk to someone and they can give you advice that you can't, you can tell them, but you can't tell your friends.
Right.
So first you forgive yourself, you forgive that person, and you learn to love yourself.
Right.
I had to learn to love myself. I couldn't depend on anyone else to love me. I had to love Ary.
Right.
And then God began to send people in my life that kind of reflects the love that He has for me, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And I just appreciate so many the people that's in my life now, my friends, my family that supports, that loves me, even my kids. I just appreciate everyone now because the season that I'm in, I've been waiting on it, Joanne. I've been waiting years to be in this season. So first of all, you just forgive yourself, you forgive that person, and you just love yourself and you trust the process because God did not bring you this far for Him to leave you where you're at. Okay.
Wonderful.
Yes, ma'am.
Ary, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story, sharing your journey, and encouraging all of us
Yes.
to keep moving forward
Yes.
and keep trusting God. Tell everybody how they can reach you if they want to get your help as far as personal
Okay.
training, or if they want you to come and speak on any
Okay.
of their platforms, tell them how they can reach you.
Okay, you guys, you can reach me on Facebook. My name is Ary Gordon. That's ARYGORDON. Or you can hit me up on IG, On My Way to Greatness 30. And my Speak Out page is at Speak Out Now 2018. So that's how you can reach me. And I really appreciate you, Joanne, for having me on your show. It's been such a blessing.
My absolute pleasure.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Woman to Woman with Joanne. We look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye. If you would like to be a guest on the show, or if you'd like to sponsor an episode, please reach out to us. You can email us at joanne@womantowomanwithjoanne.com.